Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender. Me, myself, and I play through the main event scenario. The game is published by GMT Games, designed by Salvatore Vasta. We're getting ready to go into the June 1945 game turn. There's only 2 turns left in the game. We will begin with the weather. We don't actually have to roll anything in the weather because if you look on the weather chart, in May, June, there's only 2 choices for every spot, and in the modified rules, you can't have what you had before, so it becomes fair in the cold, poor in the mild, and poor in the warm zone. And then in July, it will be fair everywhere. So, poor weather. We go on to, nobody's going to declare war at this point. The economy phase. Germany's down to 20. She only has 10 factories, minus 9 loss, so it gives her 1. But she has 9 economic reform, so she's at 20. Britain has gone up to 40 because they got an extra Lend-Lease, and the Russians technically should be at 60, but you're only allowed to ever have 59 according to the rules. So Russia's at maximum production. And Germany's not giving anything to its allies. It's going to need all 20 to try and stay alive through July. I don't know if they will or not, but we're going to try. That's economy. Strategic warfare. The Russians are still at +2. The Germans are at 0. The Russians do have a partisans marker, which they will go ahead and throw. The Germans do not have any submarines left, so it's having the German die roll +2 for the Russians. So the Germans roll a 6, halve to a 3, and the Russians roll a 2 +2 is a 4. That's a diamond each, 3 to a 4. So the Germans temporarily gain back a lost factory. The Russian partisans, I'd have to roll a 1 to get them back. I roll a 2, so they're gone for the game. There's only 1 turn left. Just get them off the board. Then we go to the West. West not quite as good as they were the last time. They only have 2 bombed markers. So they get to add 2 to their +2, so they're at +4. So it's straight die rolls because the West doesn't have anything to play either. Oh, not turn. They don't want the time track. The West has used up all. They could throw their Ultra, but they're going to need that to try and conquer Germany. So Germany has a die roll of 1. Doesn't matter what the West rolls with a +4, they're definitely going to take a factory back. So the German lost factory goes back up to a maximum of 9. So if they survive this turn, they will have 20 again next turn to try and shore up their defenses. Strategic movement. Oh, I shouldn't go so fast. I need to find... There's the marker. I'm going to take this off of there. The West has made a huge hole, so I'm going to actually strategically move the SS Panzer into Hanover. That's about the best I can do. The West doesn't have one. And neither do the Soviets. So we're on into Axis turn. Operations phase. It is poor weather. They really need to try to take Danzig back. And they really need to try and take Frankfurt back. Now, Frankfurt I can get with a DR. But with Danzig, I need to get a DD to take it back. Which is going to be difficult to do, I think. So, with limited production points, I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3 in the north. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have the garrison go 1. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, he can't do that. That won't work. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm actually going to have to use this guy to go here for 5. I'm going to activate this infantry and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 2, and then I'm going to spend 2 more to move this armored unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 2 for the unit, 2 for the city. So I just barely make it to there. So I do have assaults here. Here. And here. So we're going to assault there. We're going to have to fill in this hole here. Yeah, boy, howdy. How do I do this? I can't really save the second Panzer. I could try to do an assault, maybe get a retreat, but then he's probably just going to assault it back and take the space back from me. So whoever I stick out there is going to die. So I want that to be a garrison. I'm not sure if I want to do that yet. I'm going to think about that. We're going to go line up the assaults over here. We have to activate 3 infantry units over here. I'm going to need this. And this. And I think I'm going to need this one. I have to do a little bit of fancy maneuvering here. Basically, I activate him, and I go 1, 2, 3. And I activate him, and he goes 1, 2, 3. And then it's 4, 5 for the city, 6, 7 for the unit. 4, 5 for the city, 6, 7 for the unit. And this guy, it costs him 5. 1 for the river, 2 for the unit, and 2 for the city. And that's the best I can do there. So I'm going to have these guys assaulting. Like this. Now right now they're +2, +3, +4. I can throw in an airplane, which would give me +5. He can throw in an airplane, so it would be +5, +3, and then I'm -1 for the city, -1 for the weather. So it's going to be a +3 to a +3, unless I throw a tanks or another thing there. I also need to try and defend Bremen. So, and I'm down to, see, I spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3 more. It's going to leave me at 10. This is going to be 1, 2 to there. This infantry unit's going to go 1, 2 to there. And this garrison unit's going to go 1, 2, 3. And then it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to officially declare an assault there. I don't know if I'll actually do this. I'm going to set up all my assaults and then see what else I have left that I can move. I've got an infantry unit here. I only have a garrison there. So he can't quite... He could possibly blow through, but then I have this guy sitting here to stop the Hanover nonsense. So hopefully that will hold out long enough. He probably could get... to get rid of this garrison, he's probably going to have to use the 1st Canadian, which means he'll have 1 less on Bremen, so I'm probably okay there. Don't have a lot of stuff I can still move. And still be effective. So what I'm thinking is just to keep this guy in supply for this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could spend 4 more. That would leave me at 6. And it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, +4 to +2. Maybe I push him out of the way and throw a garrison out there just for kicks. Alright, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll spend 4 more, that leaves me with 6. And he goes 1, 2, he goes 1, 2. And it's 3 for the river, 4, 5 for the units, 6 for the hex, This was 1, 2, 3, 4 for the unit, 5 for the hex, and the armored unit pays 5 to assault here. We're going to see if we can pull off a retreat of some sort. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do much with that. So I have 6 points left. That would be I have 3 infantry that are face down, or that are flipped, that I'm going to want to bring back up. So I think I'm going to just stop here. I have those 3 infantry. I might end up with a couple other things flipped that I have to bring up as well. And if not, I'll be able to bring up 1 airplane again for the final offensive in July. Possibly on the Russian front to try and push them back. More likely on the Western front to try and get them. So, I pretty much set it all up, and now all I'm going to do is resolve it. My 6 points left. There's a bit of a hole here, but hopefully I can put a couple garrisons in there and slow them down and then back up. That's my plan, is to try and back up. I'm going to see if this works. Okay, the most important one I think is Danzig and Frankfurt are both equally important. I have on my faction card heavy artillery and jets and tanks. So here I am currently +3 to +3. I need to be up extra +2. Up here, if I have the armor be first, he's 3, and then 4 and 5. And if I add 2, that would be, or add 1 would be 6 minus 2. I'd be a +4, and the best he can be is a +2. Oh boy, that's not good. 10. I only have a 3 and 36 shot, but that's the best I'm going to get there. Unless I go whole hog on Danzig, and then I have a 3 +3 to a +3 down here. Means the best I could get's a 9, or the worst I can get's a 4. Well, we gotta go for good die rolls. And he's +3, so it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So about a 1 in 6 chance if I take Frankfurt. And it'd probably be about the same to take Danzig. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't do anything there. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do this one first. Let's do Frankfurt. Throw in my air. He throws in his air. He's -4 because he's -2 for sorties and -2 for the weather. So the Allies are at -4. Best they can get's a 2. I start off at a net of -2. +2 for German, -4 for sorties. I'm going to go ahead and throw my jets. Because I can. I throw my jets on this air combat, so that puts me up to a 0. So a 0 to a 4 in the air combat. The Germans roll a 6. That's good. And the best they can get's a 2. They need to roll a 6, otherwise bad things happen. Rolled a 4. -4 is a 0, becomes a 1. If you look at the combat results table, a 6 to a 1 is a DD. That does a couple things. First off, he's going to take 3 sorties, which is good for me. 3 sorties. And because it's a DD result, if you go over and look at what happens when you're doing an air support, a DD is attacker receives the air support combat die roll, the defender does not. So he's only +2. So instead of it being, so it's, to be clear on this, I'll go through the math for you. The jets go on the turn track for next turn. So I'll get them back. And I get an airplane. Yay. The airplane goes up by 1. Get that out of there. So I start off with this German here, because he's +2 for being German. Then I get +1 for each of my buddies. And I get +1 for the aircraft. And then I'm -1 for the city, -1 for the weather. He starts off at +1 because he's American, +1 because he's armor. So it's a +3 to a +2. On the combat results table, that's a little bit better odds. Since he's only at +2, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have like 12 chances in 36. So it's like a 1 in 4 shot, or 1 in 3 shot. A little better chance here. The Germans roll. When you roll a 1, +3 is 4. The minimum the Americans can get is a 3, so they are not going to. See, they got a 3. So a 4 to a 3 is a diamond, and the Americans hold Frankfurt. It was a good shot, but hey, it did not work. Oh well. It would have been interesting to have the Germans being sitting on that river line, because the Americans would have had a problem getting it back, probably. Okay, now we go up here to this one. This is the other important one. This is the one where I'm going to throw everything. This infantry is going to get a tanks marker. And he's going to commit an airplane. Which one can reach? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll take the guy that's furthest back. Oh, not. What am I doing? Not highlighting it. So we're going to go after this guy now. Did I unhighlight the Frankfurt? No, I didn't. So take that off. So the armor is going to be the primary. So he starts off at +2 for German, +1 for armor and poor weather. There's an infantry who thinks he's a tank, so he's actually +2. And this guy is +1. I'm also going to throw the heavy artillery here to be another +2. And then -1 for the weather, -1 for the city. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then -2. So I'm at +6, and he's at +2. A little better odds of me possibly getting the... Problem is I need a DD. A DR will not clear Danzig, because he'll just lose a step. And I don't have... Oh boy, I could not... I could save the infantry and be only +4 to +2. And then it'd be +2 to +2. Let me rethink this. Maybe I don't throw the heavy artillery here. And take out one of the infantries. Yeah, put the tanks marker on this guy. Now, I will not... This guy here is not going to assault. I'm not going to play my tanks marker. That would give me 3, 4, 5, 6, down to 4. So it'd be +4 to +2. I have to try and do a wave assault here. So this infantry unit's going to hang on, and then he'll use his tanks to be able to be +2 to +2 next time. Okay? So that's the whole point here, is I'm trying to get 2 DRs out of this. I don't know if it'll work. So +4 to +2 because of the weather. +4 to +2. Germans roll a 1. +4 is a 5. Russians have to roll a 1. And they did. So the shock army gets flipped. Okay. Now I go in with this. The heavy artillery rolls not a 1, so it's gone for the rest of the game. And then for the infantry unit, I'm going to go ahead. Now I'm going to assault with the infantry unit that's not flipped. There we go. So now he assaults into here, and they throw in their airplane so that they're only at a -1. Normally they would be a -1, now they're at a 0. And I'm at a +2 because I'm +2 because I'm German, then +2 because I think I'm a tank, +1 because I think I'm a tank. I'm sorry. It would be +1. +2 for German, +1 because I think I'm a tank, but then -1 for the city, -1 for the weather. So it's a +1, and he's a 0 because he's +1 because he's elite, -2 for because he's flipped, and I throw in another airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll throw in that one. So now I'm at a +1 to a 0. And the Germans roll 3 + 1 is a 4. And the Russians roll a 6, so they hold. So almost got it. Didn't quite work. Almost pulled it off. So I didn't take either one of my hexes that I felt I had to take with the Germans. So, and then I have a silly assault over here. I can attack him at +2, 3, 4, -1, be +3 to his +3, just to see if I can retreat him. And he will go ahead and use the bomber to give him a +3, because I want to stay on that side of the river if possible. These guys were all activated. Okay. So it's 2 for the German, +1 for each buddy, is a grand total of 4, -1 for the weather, because there's no terrain in that hex, as you can see. So let's see, normally I'm +3, 4, right? 2, 3, 4, and then -1 for the weather, so I'm +3. He's +1 because he's British, +1 because he's armor. He threw in an airplane, so he's +3. So it's +3 to +3. The Germans are all 4, +3 is a 7. British are all a 6, +3 is a 9, so. And none of those actually cost steps. They just stop attacks. So that was terrible. So my assaults didn't work. I really don't have anything else to do with the Germans. I have 9, like I said, I have 6 points left. The only thing I could think of would be try to move something over here to this hole. But I figure if he blows through that, I've lost the game anyway. So I have to kind of hold with what I've got. With my zones of control kind of close this off on the Danube. He's got to kill something first to make any kind of a hole. And then he might be able to get some units. But we're going to hope that I make my die rolls. All right. Unfortunately, that aircraft is not in range of doing any damage to anybody else. Should have probably done one a little bit closer, like the one outside of Hanover, because then I could have done this, and then I would be able to go get another airplane for a sortie. But I didn't, so that is the Axis operations phase. They have everything is in supply now. Oh, I moved all these guys and didn't call the assault here. Sorry. I have one more assault to resolve. This guy's primary. He's +2, +1 for a guy. So that's +3, and then +2 because he's adding armor, and then -1 for the weather. So I'm +4. He starts off at +1, and you want to know something? It's probably not worth wasting my aircraft, so I'm going to let him go +4 to +1. That hex is a hex I can take back with an assault rather easily. So that's what I'm going to do. Germans roll 4 + 4 is an 8. Russians roll a 3. 8 to a 3, I think, is a flip. Isn't it? Oh, not that one. 8 to a 3 is a DD, which is okay because I can retreat. So I flip and I back up a space. And he's going to take it with the garrison because he doesn't want to. He could have ended up with like a +2, 3, 4, 5, 6, +7, +6 to +2. Just looking at the. God, I keep pulling that up. +6 to a +2. So figure the worst. If he rolls an 8, if he rolls a 6, he gets a 12. At +2, the worst that can happen to me is a DD. Maybe I take it with the armored unit. Then I just give him the city and he attacks 3 hexes here and just rolls up the line, I think. No, I'll stick the garrison unit out there. He could get a DD and kill the garrison, but at this point I really don't care. I'm living on 9 will points, so I'm trying to make sure that he can't get too much, and I'm running out of space over here, so I really need to get my infantry units, healed up, maybe build a couple more garrisons here in the west to try and slow him down. It's going to be a near-run thing, I think. So that is the Axis operations phase. They have They failed to take Danzig, they failed to take Frankfurt, had some halfway decent chances, not the best. They had some chances there, just couldn't quite pull it off. Did manage to use up a couple sorties on the Russian Air Force, so that's something. That's about all I can do right now. Yeah, okay. Let's call this the turn. That is the Axis Operations Phase for June 1945. I'm Dren608. Please subscribe to my videos so you don't miss any future episodes. There'll probably only be, one more turn. But you can also go back and look at all the previous turns, too. And we will return with the Western Allies Operations Phase in just a little bit. Until then, bye-bye.